Open the pod bay doors, Hal. Who is it? Dave. Who? It's me, Dave. Dave's not here. Oh, okay. Shocked nobody made one out of that yet for one of the classic Cheech and Chong routines. It's me, Dave. I'm Dave. Oh, well. That's an old one. Most of your younger folk would not know this. Yep, talking about BiGeneration. Okay. That's another one that hit me yesterday, but I didn't put a thing up for it. Yeah, I've been looking at some of the clips here and there that have been popping up for next week's episode. I was kind of hoping, maybe this will turn out to be some kind of weird Ronnie experiment thing. That the whole BiGeneration thing was something that was of her design. Now, why the Ronnie would even give a shit about the doctor, that's another thing I want to explain. Because, for one, the Ronnie would be jumping for freaking joy that the Time Lords were wiped out and wiped out for good. Because now there's no oversight. There's nobody else to meddle in her affairs. Um, she didn't, when we last saw the Ronnie, well, not the last time, because that was oh God, that was time in the Ronnie. But in Mark of the Ronnie, we find out she didn't give two shits about the Doctor and the Master. She really didn't. Well, it'd be interesting to see Mel, come up against the Ronnie again, because we know Mel met the Ronnie in time in the Ronnie, but oh God, that was one of those episodes I really don't like to even think about. That's why I die laughing at people who are bitching about Modern Who. Guys, there's always been bad episodes the whole time. You have episodes of this show that just did not work. You know, some think they're the most brilliant thing in the universe, and others go, "Oh my God, did that stink?" Um, like I said, the ones that are making me die laughing is about Shooty being too dark, and Belinda should have said something more. It's like, guys, Belinda is trapped out in the middle of space. And okay, you heard about Davis RTD having a mental breakdown with everyone on Twitter because people enjoyed the episode and disagreed with him being called genocide supporters. All right, here's the problem. I can't remember that character's name, little horny guy. I know, I just made that up. But so his solution to the problem was my people were killed, so I'm going to wipe out trillions in retribution. Trillions. I'm going to wipe out practically a whole galaxy of people to get revenge for my people being wiped out. So, well, no, there's too many bald people. You'll never be rid of us. There are far more of us than there are of you. um, so, and I'm dying laughing. That was too dark. And I'm like, guys, are we forgetting, like, oh, I don't know, Family of Blood? Plus, when you go back and look at some of the things the Seventh Doctor did, especially way back, especially if you go to Big Finish and things like that, the things you find out the Seventh Doctor did, that was nothing. Oh, well, that just shows you how well, the bowel movement, knows his material. I'm sorry, but if you're watching a show and all you can do is whine about how many people on your screen are white or not, that pretty much shows me on what level your mind is operating. I'm deeply sorry, but who's really the racist in this indication, in this particular situation then? Kind of is a dead giveaway, ain't it? When you sit and think about it. Come on, there have been people who I would not watch animated Married with Children. It's why. Is somebody actually going to be dumb enough to do it? They're talking about doing animations of Ash versus Evil Dead and all that, but because, Bruce Campbell's getting up there and he really can't do a lot of, he doesn't want to have to do all that stuff anymore. But that one I would watch. But Married with Children, it's a little too late, isn't it? Just. Hell, there were plans for an animated Doctor Who series. Go look it up. I'm not shitting you. There was also plans for. There was going to be an animated Star Trek series back in the day called The Final Frontier. And this was way back. Yeah, and like I said, I like the series Married with Children, but it had its day. It's passed on. It's you know just like when I think it was it Fox or what you call it was kept trying to bring back the Munsters, and it's like part of the magic of the original Munster series was the cast, and it wasn't an animated Munsters, but oh god, it just no, it wasn't going to work. And as far as I'm concerned, there's only one person in the universe who played Judd Crandall perfectly in Pet Sematary in any of its incarnations, and that was Fred Gwynn. Everyone else who tried after, it sucked ass. As much as I love John Lithgow, you know, that new Pet Sematary movie was just total horseshit. Okay, but back to Doctor Who. Yeah, there's been a clip here or there popping up about what's coming in Wish World, and like I said, I'm trying to figure out where they're going with this. Because quite frankly, it's why would the Ronnie's character suddenly have a boner for the Doctor? Because Ronnie didn't give a shit about the Doctor, really. Now, could it be a revenge thing? Yeah, because when we did last see the Ronnie, it did not work out so well. But at the same time, the Master also survived that particular encounter, so. If you saw a huge brown grizzly bear in your front yard rummaging in your trash bin, what are you going to do? Worry because we don't have bears in this area. um, the main thing we got to worry about up here is coyotes. We got coyotes crawling all over the place. Matter of fact, coyotes, I think, the only all-season animal in our region because there's so damn many of them. For one, you don't go near a grizzly bear. I die laughing because people always say, well, I'll run away. A bear can run, I think, upwards of 30 miles per hour. You're not going to outrun the bear. I'll climb up a tree. No, because bears can climb and they can get up high enough to kill you. Or they'll just push the tree over, depending on its structural integrity. Yeah. Like I said, it may have had something to do with, the Doctor did piss off the Ronnie a couple times, but But here's also the thing. Remember, the Ronnie was playing around with the Seventh Doctor, and I got to go back and watch the episode because I can't remember exactly what the whole. Oh God, it was Time in the Ronnie. The Doctor had just regenerated, and she was dressed up as Mel, and um, oh God, she was dressed up as Mel. I felt bad for Kate Mara in that one. Um, kind of makes me wonder. You think maybe the Ronnie, being the scientist she is, we're talking scientist in the meaning of like, I don't know, Mengele level here. We're talking really, really disturbed. Because the Ronnie did experiments and just didn't give a damn. You know, just completely, didn't give a shit. Maybe the Ronnie stumbled onto the whole timeless child thing, which is, given what RTD has said and all that. Plus, you wouldn't believe some of the outrageous theories I keep seeing that somehow Susan is tying back to space babies. I'm like, well, we saw that space baby actress. I'm like, well, the whole loom thing kind of troubles me, but at the same time, would Time Lords reproduce in the traditional sense, given how advanced their society was? Also, wouldn't that concept belong to the author of Lung Barrel? So, like I said, it's been an interesting series, but like I keep saying though, the guy who, because I got sent these leaks a while back by Mark, and so far, whoever made that list of leaks is batting 1,000. And the last thing on the list is Ncuti Gatwa is not coming back. Well, like I said, I got to look at the leaks again. I didn't say anything about 15 being someone's papa. Talking about BiGeneration, talking about my BiGeneration. Okay, now that's stuck in my head. Doing the BiGeneration Blitz. Well, the thing is that worries me is I'm really hoping this is not going to be the new norm. I really am. I'm really hoping, because it's ridiculous. Why would the Time Lords have needed to reproduce in the first place if BiGeneration was a canonical thing? There would be billions of copies of the same people. It would be like Lynn Tilla in the old radio plays of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That is something I've been thinking about, is because there has been a regeneration we did not see on screen, and that was the second Doctor into the third Doctor. We saw the beginning of it, which led to the Series 6B theory, and also, Devious and the fan film Devious and whatnot. And it makes me wonder. Like I said, all I know is what the list that I have is telling me. And so far, that list has been nailing it. So So whoever got this out must have been somebody who was pretty high up, or they deliberately leaked it. Because, like I said, getting information out of Bad Wolf is not easy. It was not easy even at the time. Yeah, well, I believe I do, but I just can't remember what it is at the moment. I'm O something. I think O positive. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look it up again. I remember I'm one of the O's. But shit, I just looked at the time. I got to get inside. Okay, guys. Well, we'll know for sure kind of this coming weekend. Omega Files on Friday as usual. We are working Saturday again this week. So if you want to join us Saturday morning, unless something changes, we'll be here. So take care, everyone. I got to run inside. Be kind, be calm, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Exactly. Talking about BiGeneration. Talking about BiGeneration. Well. Take care, everyone. We'll catch y'all later. Be kind, be calm, be safe.